Welcome, travelers. It is I, Lore Wizard Harmony, and welcome back to another insight into the world of Allos. Today I am going to delve into one of the many god moons of Allos. This one is Biradin, god of the oceans. To those new to this project, the divinity of the setting is in the form of 30 moons orbiting a gas giant. Long ago they were extra-dimensional beings, but they all died out and their corpses formed into the god moons. Of course, they do still have depictions outside of their current celestial bodies, hence why Biradin here also has the form of a sea serpent. My first attempts at making his face were either eel-like or inspired by medieval art, an inspiration we will return to, but ultimately I went for a simple snake's face with some large lionfish spins. Now, medieval art tends to have some odd design choices. Many I saw had strange humanoid features plastered on, or a surprising abundance of pig-like features. I knew I couldn't let this god be without something out of place, so I decided to take that swine influence and glue on some pig feet onto his upper body. In my original descriptions of Biradin, I mentioned that he had scales like river stones, so, as you'll see momentarily, I went through a very meticulous process, breaking up the boundary between a snake's back scales and belly scales would be with rounded shapes. This next step is going to be long and arduous, so let's just leave my clone to it, and we'll be back when it's time for color. Time for color. The first thing is that I wanted the belly and head of Biradin to be flowing water, and his scales to be stone. So we start with a base layer of blue, which goes by relatively quickly once we get past the complex shapes of the head. Then, a once again tedious task, filling around the back scales, because I do rough line work that has gaps that make it impossible to fill bucket my color. Is it not the most efficient? Maybe, but the roughness gives a nice aesthetic, I think. Once again, tedious stuff, so I'll leave my clone to do this, and then once it is done, I'll get back to you on the render. Once the color is done, I pull up a quick color reference of Riverstones and I start shading. I make sure to use a brush that has an uneven value and coloration to give it an impression of depth and variety, while keeping me from having to shade every individual stone. I do a few passes of darker color, then a few of lighter colors, working from the mid-tone. I then add a few splotches of orange to break up the monotony. Throw out the rocks, and it's time for water. Water is not easy to paint, but fortunately I've had practice with this before, so it goes smooth. With that, Biradin, the great sea serpent, is finished. Thank you as always for watching. Show this wiggly wormy boy some love by liking the video, and may we meet again.